What's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In today's video, what we're going to be discussing is, I don't want to really call it the downfall, but just a really messed up season from the Cleveland Guardians. Now, the reason why I want to say downfall is last year this team was having a rocky start. They figured it out by the middle of the season, and then in the end of the season, they were just like, they looked like one of the best teams in the MLB, made the playoffs, won the wild card round, was up 2-1 on the Yankees in the divisional round. They were looking like a pretty damn good team. And now this year, we are currently already a little bit past the midway point. We're in middle of August at the time of recording this. There's like maybe 40-50 games left. And at the point of recording this, I will put it on screen, the Guardians are less than 5 games out of the first place in the division. And I believe in the wild card, it ain't looking any better. So we're going to go over everything that's kind of happened here in this season, what happened in the offseason, what's happened this season, and I'm going to kind of give my opinion on why I think this team has pretty much crumbled and what they need to do if they're going to fix things before the playoffs come around. As always, if you go on to enjoy today's video, make sure you drop a like, and without further ado, let's get into it. Now let's recap kind of how the season went on to end. 2022, as we know, like I said, rough start, got some rhythm going in the middle of the season, and at the end of the season, we looked like a top 10 team. Went into the playoffs, had the Tampa Bay Rays 2-0 sweep in the wild card round. That was a fun series. Then we had to move on to the divisional round. We had the Yankees. It was a fun series. We were up 2-1. There was a lot of joy. I made a TikTok about that series. It was cool. We ultimately ended up losing because we had to go back to New York. Lost that game. Once we got back to Cleveland, it was pretty much just like a wrap up. New York kind of had us in a chokehold at that point. And in that moment, I feel like a lot of people are going to look at the series and they're like, we could have won that. How did we not win that? We choked. I look at it as, okay, we won the wild card round. We were up 2-1 on a team that's been perennial World Series contenders every single year. We are still a young team. Hey, this is something to grow off of. So I looked at last season as a success. It was a great season. We had fun. It was a cool season. Let's build into 2023. Now let's look at some of the offseason acquisitions that we ended up making. We first went out and got Josh Bell from the Padres. Josh Bell had a pretty damn good year with the Padres. He was a great first baseman, could be a designated hitter, hitting home runs. That's what we missed in last season. We had a lot of great hitters, guys that can hit bloops and blops and just drop singles and doubles into the gaps, but we didn't really have a good power hitter. Our only power hitters was Jose Ramirez and Josh Naylor. And a lot of times you look around at every single roster in the league, you always want to have at least one guy that's designated just for hitting home runs, or like is their big power guy, to where even if they're not even playing that night, you can bring them in as a pinch hitter later on in the game. Say you get 2 guys on base or a bases loaded, you can bring them in and trust, hey, go get me a home run, give me some RBIs real quick so we can get back into this game. And Cleveland didn't really have that, so that's why we brought in Josh Bell. Boy, were we wrong whenever we brought him in, because he did not, I don't want to say he didn't turn out, but I say he didn't live up to the hype that we all kind of expected him to. Now, what ultimately kind of led to the downfall, in my opinion? Injuries. Now, when it comes to the injuries, what exactly went wrong? Josh Naylor. When he went down, this has been huge for us because I still think he was snubbed of an all-star appearance. The guy's been hitting pretty much top 10 in batting average. He's up there in the home run categories. He's got the RBIs. I think he led RBIs for a while there in the league. And so it just kind of shows once he went down, the team went down. Another guy that wasn't really in the lineup for a while, Tristan McKenzie. Great pitcher we had last year. He was a great pitcher. Would love having him. He went back down to the minors for a little bit, and then he came back up, and he's just still been battling an injury. Another guy that wasn't really injury prone or like had an injury, he was just struggling. Oscar Gonzalez. Everybody called him SpongeBob. He hit the game-winning home run and in the wildcard round last year against the Rays, and he hit the game-winning home run in Game 3, I believe, of the ALDS against the Yankees. But then at the start of this year, he seemed like he was struggling quite a bit, so they sent him down to AA or AAA, let him get some work in, try and improve his batting skills, and then we brought him back up this summer. Now, has he looked better since he got back? Yes. Is it a very big improvement to possibly help us get a power hitter in there? I don't think so, but we just needed him to get his batting skills back, because at the very beginning of the season, he was rough. Like, I want to say his batting average was like a 150. That's no bueno. Now, moving on into the season, what did we do at the trade deadline? Because you want to say, okay, your team's not doing good. What can you do? Can you improve? And a lot of teams in the trade deadline, you have 1 or 2 things you can do. You're either buying or you're selling. It's either one. You can't do both. and Cleveland elected to go for the selling route. What do? Traded Josh Bell because he just wasn't helping, and I believe they were paying him like $10-15 million a year. No point in that. Let's get that salary somewhere else, I think is what they tried to do. And they also traded away the pitcher Aaron Civale, which I kind of liked him on the roster, and I thought he was a pretty damn good pitcher, which is why I'm confused why we traded him. But I guess it's like if we can get back some minor league acquisitions, which I believe we did get a first baseman back from the Tampa Bay Rays for him, which also doesn't make sense when Josh Naylor plays first baseman, and you would say, oh, well, the other guy, he can just be a designated hitter. Josh Naylor also designated hits. So are you planning on trying to just rotate them back and forth? One day this guy plays, one day the other guy plays? I'd rather have Naylor out there when he's healthy. So ultimately, what all went wrong for this team this year? Pitching with the injuries, Tristan McKenzie not being out there, and I believe Shane Bieber also has been struggling quite a bit this year. Number 2, the hitting has just not been there. We have no power hitting, and with Jose Ramirez being basically the only guy that can hit the ball over the fence consistently, that's kind of a stinger. And let me go back and say, also Josh Naylor can also hit the ball over the fence quite a bit. It's just with him being out these past couple weeks, Jose is pretty much on his own out there. Now, the only bright side with this team is the defense, and that's one thing I want to talk about. People were saying that, like, in the outfield, Miles Straw needs to be cut, which there's times where I wish he wasn't there in the batting order, but in the defense, with him being in center field, this team is stacked. Like, when you got Stephen Kwan in the left field, Miles Straw in the center field, and then Will Brennan over in the right field, that is a, like, possible all-star lineup right there in the outfield whenever it comes to just being a great defense out there. Like, I'm not even kidding. Now, when it comes to batting, Kwan is good at just getting his single. That's all we need Kwan to do when he leads off. Just go up there and get a single, get on base, steal some bases. We'll try and get you the rest of the way around the bases. Will Brennan, same thing. Just get some singles. And the same thing we ask for out of Straw. Just get some singles. But it seems like every time he hits the ball, he's hitting it on the ground, and he is hitting it like either the pitcher or the shortstops and second basemen are all already up and ready for his ground ball. Now, throughout all this carnage, let me look at some bright spots. The pitching has gotten a little bit better here as of late. There was a couple pitchers that we have added into the roster. I believe his name was Logan Allen. He was not a rookie, but he's newer up on the roster this year being brought up. He's been doing pretty good so far. The other pitcher, Gavin Williams, brought him up as well, a good right-hander. He has been excellent. I love watching him pitch. He's got a great command on his pitches. Hopefully he can stay within the lineup. It just seems like going forward, if everybody were to get healthy, it would be a lineup in the pitching command of Shane Bieber, Tristan McKenzie, possibly a Logan Allen, a Gavin Williams. I don't even know if Quantrell is still in this lineup, and we kind of go from there. Hi, Dylan and editing. I forgot another pitcher in there. The name was Tanner Bybee that I forgot to input, the one that I was talking about as the rookie. Logan Allen is also in the roster, but going forward with this pitching lineup, if it was the lineup of Shane Bieber, Tristan McKenzie, Tanner Bybee, Logan Allen, and Gavin Williams, that right there is a stud lineup. But that's all I ever got to say. Okay, bye. But yeah, ultimately, if you were going to get this team to be playing better going into the end of the season, pitching needs to stay consistent, hitting needs to get better, and when I say get better, I mean Josh Naylor needs to come back healthy. We need to get everybody at that bottom of the lineup, because it seems like there's times where obviously everybody knows your 1, 2, 3, 4 are your best hitters, your 5, 6 are your average hitters, and then your 7, 8, 9 are your guys that just, you don't expect much out of them. But a great team, those 7, 8, 9 hitters, they don't always go out there and hit home runs, triples, and doubles. But sometimes they can come up clutch and get a nice little double or even a little 2-out RBI when it matters. And that's what we were missing out of this team. Now, if I was going to be a betting man and say, I'm going to put my money down and say this team's going to make the playoffs, it's a very risky ask right now. Am I going to bet it through the wild card? Hell no. Because Cleveland, I think, is like 9 games back, and I don't see them getting into that race. Do I think they can still win through the division? Yes, because Minnesota is also struggling. It seems like them in Minnesota, Cleveland's commentators on Bally Sports pretty much said it best. It seems like Cleveland is like win one, lose one, win one, lose one. They're struggling. Minnesota has the easiest chance to where if they were a little bit better, they could be running away with this division, but they're not, which is giving Cleveland and even teams behind Cleveland, like White Sox, a chance to try and crawl back into the race, which is going to be exciting these next month and a half. But other than that, that's really all I got to discuss for today's video. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you drop a like. If you're a Guardians fan, let me know in the comments what you guys think is going to happen the rest of the season. Like I said, I think they can make the playoffs. It's going to be a really risky kind of next month and a half. See kind of how this goes. But as always, if you do enjoy today's video, like I said, drop a like. Subscribe if you're brand new. Very much appreciate if you did so. If you enjoy Cleveland sports content whenever it comes to the Guardians, the Browns, the Cavaliers, or anything Ohio sports, or anything just in general sports related, I do upload and talk about anything sports related here on the channel. And without further ado, it's been Dylan Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.